The number of female gamers is growing rapidly, especially in Asia. According to games analyst Newzoo, nearly half the world's gamers are now female. But there's a problem. Whilst there are plenty of successful female gaming influencers, very few players like Betty are making it to the very top of the competitive side of gaming, esports.
Oh God, this again? How many times are you guys going to make the exact same boring argument? There's not enough women in whatever male-dominated field we decided to pick. This crap is like how Hollywood keeps making the same exact movies but with different actors. It's so predictable. What's next, the wage gap?
Research from esportsearnings.com shared exclusively with the BBC found that there are no female players in the top 100 all-time earners, or the top 200. You have to go all the way down to 338th to trans player Scarlet to find a female player. The next female top earner isn't until 680th.
I guess it's just like real sports. But seriously, do you want to know how I know this is just a grift and these media companies don't actually care about the fairness they're claiming to care about? Think back to all the times you've heard the term male-dominated field and ask yourself, have they ever once said, oh my God, this female-dominated field has no men in it. We need to change that in the name of equality. I haven't, and I watch this stuff for a living. There's a gender disparity in nursing, school teachers, and wedding planners, but I have never heard them call for more men in those fields.
Dota 2 has the most lucrative esports scene going. Champions become millionaires, but no female professional players have ever won a world championship, and very few have even made a living. And it's not just Dota 2. No women have ever lifted the biggest trophies or won the biggest prize purses in any esport, and it looks like 2021 will be the same.
That just sounds awful. Things are so unfair. But did it ever occur to you that there's never been a female team at the top because statistically it doesn't make sense? How could that be? The BBC said earlier that 50% of gamers are women.
According to games analyst Newzoo, nearly half the world's gamers are now female.
This must mean that 50% of high-ranking players should be women. Except wait, it turns out that when you specify what kind of games people play, women don't like to play the same types of games. So when you say 50% of gamers are female, you're talking about things like Candy Crush and Farmville, not games like Call of Duty and Apex Legends. Traditionally, women like puzzle games, RPGs, and sim games like Animal Crossing. This has been known for decades. Back in the 1990s, one of the reasons that Nintendo sold the original Game Boy with Tetris is because moms loved that game. Women make most of the household purchases, and Tetris convinced them to buy a Game Boy. So let's look at some numbers on the stuff that BBC is talking about. Earlier they said Dota 2, right? What percentage of women play that game? 20%. What about another popular competitive game like Fortnite? 27%. Higher than Dota, but you can still see that there are way more male players than females, so it statistically makes sense for almost all the top players to be male, especially when you're in an environment where it's winner take all. Have you ever played a competitive sport before? Typically the same people win everything, so it's not just all the male teams share the top spots equally, it's more like one male team wins almost all the time. When you have way more male players, it's way more likely that the same male player or the same male team will win everything. This reporting is so bad that even the female Valorant team that the BBC chose for this news special said that there aren't many female competitive players.
So you're saying that you wouldn't want there to be a division where women can't play against men?
Oh, that'd be horrible. I wouldn't play the game if that was the case, personally.
Tell me why. Can you explain that?
At the current scene right now, I think all of us individually would be like, it wouldn't be fun. Like, we wouldn't have any competition, or if we just only had to play against other women's teams.
We don't want separate divisions because there wouldn't be any competition. Really? That's strange. Could that be because twice as many men play Valorant? And the only reason that the female numbers are so high is because Riot Games got bullied by Feminist, so they went out of their way to over-promote Valorant to women. That's why their participation is much higher than the 7% of women that typically play shooters from the graph that I showed earlier. Honestly though, this is terrible marketing. There are certain things that men are naturally attracted to, and there are certain things that women are naturally attracted to. Good marketers figuring out what that stuff is, and then marketing natural desires to their respective audiences, is how companies make money. Mainstream media is saying that we need to force more women into competitive gaming because it's a male-dominated field, is like me saying, guys, you know what? This channel is dominated by videos that are about relationships and woke people. There aren't nearly enough Minecraft videos here, and that's so unfair because so many people play Minecraft. So what I'm going to do is only make Minecraft videos until 50% of the videos on my channel are about Minecraft. Would you guys watch this channel if I did that? Do you think that it would be a good business idea to tank my channel by making videos my audience doesn't care about? How about we just let people watch what they naturally want to watch and let people work the jobs that they naturally want to work instead of propagandizing them into beliefs that go against their actual desires? This all seems like a solution searching for a problem. The media is saying, we have the answer we want, now we just need to find a problem to force our solution into. And of course, simple numbers can't be the reason why there aren't many successful female competitors. It must be misogyny that's holding them back.
They think women are being put off because of a misogynistic and immature culture in grassroots gaming, something female gamers are increasingly highlighting online.
Why are guys so unoriginal with their smack talk on Call of Duty?
Go back to the dishes. I know a bunch of boomers wrote this, so BBC might not be aware of this, but for like 15 plus years, you've been able to mute players who say things you don't like. Is there a game out there these days where you can't mute people? In the words of Frosk,
if you don't like it, don't watch it. Peace!
If you don't like it, don't listen. Now, I don't think one clip of this does enough justice to how many times they made the misogyny argument for why female players don't do as well competitively, instead of talking about something more reasonable like total number of female players or time invested building the skill. Here's another one.
People are especially sexist in game towards women and make very rude comments, and I think that it's easier for us because we know we're successful and we know we have accomplishments, but like women every day just get like literally harassed in game, and it's really difficult to play in that environment.
Just on the day-to-day, like if you're a girl, you don't get the luxury of just having a bad game. It's like because you're a girl.
People are rude in video games. Women most affected. Allow me to poll the audience. Raise your hand right now if you've ever played an online game where someone said something mean to you. Everybody raised their hand, right? This is not exclusive to women. Here's data from Pew Research about online harassment from 2014. Most of the categories are even. Look, it says here that men are 7% more likely to be harassed online than women are when you look at all types of harassment. Yeah, this stuff is not great on both sides, but don't sit there and make shows pretending that women are the only ones who have to deal with assholes. This is not the only news report promoting this false narrative. Here is Vice basically saying the same thing. This next clip features Madison Mann, a Fortnite player.
I think I knew the harassment I would face because I've always experienced it being just a girl online. Like I've heard everything since I was 9 years old. It's definitely gotten more personal because it's like my everyday job, and I have to hear harassment from other pros, and it's pretty annoying, but at the same time I'm like, someone has to take the bullet in order for things to change.
Oh, you're so brave. You're the only person who's fighting for freedom. One thing they didn't highlight is how many women don't actually care about this kind of commentary. Here's a segment with Melanie Mack on the Chrissy Mayer Show.
You know, I made a tweet not long ago saying, hey, as women, maybe we should stop being victims here and stop calling everyone a misogynist because they make a get in the kitchen joke on Xbox Live. It ain't that deep. It's a joke. Just toss it right back at them.
Yes, that's how you respond to this kind of behavior. By the way, something I haven't really talked about too much on this channel is welcome to male spaces. How much of this air quote harassment is just men behaving how they behave around men? Melanie seems to understand that. This is one of the fundamental differences between men and women that feminists don't get, because they think that men's words mean the same thing that women's words do. Men and women have different experiences, so in a lot of situations, their words and expressions mean different things. In these kinds of situations, I think that women tend to be more indirect and polite. So they'll say something nice, but really intend something mean, while men will say the worst possible things to each other and not mean it at all. It's a part of a game. Women who don't get that will think it's serious and take the commentary personally, when it's more about playful banter. Here's an example of that behavior on the stream of a professional Apex Legends player who goes by It's Timmy.
I killed one. He's low. Both on me. Bud's one. He's trying to thirst for armor. Nice. Beat him.
I can't do guys. Well, he full killed you? What a bitch, bro.
See? He just laughs off the insult because it's not serious. And it's fun because it gives guys a chance to say all the things that we aren't allowed to say everywhere else, which is why I don't appreciate companies like the BBC and Vice using this fake news to further censor male spaces. Men aren't going around trying to change the culture of female spaces, so please stop doing it to ours. Feminists have destroyed so many male spaces that we can't even have the Boy Scouts. Yet magically, in the name of equality, every female space like Curves is left untouched. But establishment corporations like Vice and the BBC are using women to push this narrative to censor male spaces because, one, the establishment hates free speech, so they'll look for any excuse to censor people. And two, because, as I said, tons of women aren't as direct as men are, and they don't understand the game that is being played in male-dominated spaces, so they get offended, lash out, and call for censorship. The establishment needs people to call for censorship, or they can't get away with it. Oh, and by the way, some of the women who Vice and the BBC said were being attacked were actually engaging in harassment.
It goes two ways. So one is they will say, "Oh my god, babe, I love you." This kind of weird stuff, like they never seen a girl in their life.
Wait a minute, how is what she said not sexist? Oh my god, I bet you've never spoken to a woman before. I mean, considering the comment, she's probably right, but how is that not at least as sexist as telling women to wash dishes? Why didn't the BBC point that out? This is a part of the complete hypocrisy on the internet where if you say an insulting word that refers to how many sexual partners a woman has had, you are instantly banned. But go ahead and use all kinds of words against men to describe how few sexual partners they've had. Those are fine. Feminists need to pick one. Either it's all okay or none of it's okay. Do that or stop saying you're for equality because you guys clearly aren't. We are tired of the double standards and we're tired of the games that are played not to actually help people, but to gain power. Speaking of that, example number 2 from Vice of a female gamer being abusive.
It is actually insane that every single person on this team is acting this way. No, I'm not going to because I've put up with it for too many fucking games.
We really don't care. We really don't.
She's caught yelling here at other players. What exactly is the full context of this situation? Could it be that she started this fight? Certainly, even if she didn't, she's not completely innocent in this situation. They're saying that they want to stop toxicity, and she's there yelling and throwing fuel on the fire. That's not how you deal with toxic players. This is how you deal with them.
Alright, you two, you both need to stop. You...
I never get we can loot them. You guys get a 14 that comes up to you guys and throws the game, but I never get that. I'm never that lucky. What the fuck is that shit?
Okay.
Shields a recharge.
Stop.
That was It's Timmy again, a professional Apex Legends streamer and competitor, as in someone who is actually good at the game, and that's how he handles toxic players. He doesn't scream back at them and yell at them like that girl did. What happened was they were playing a ranked game, and the Bloodhound guy who was mad got killed first. The other team realized they were fighting a famous streamer and gave him 3 free kills. Timmy's teammate who died is pissed because Timmy just got a bunch of points for those kills, whereas the guy who died got nothing. Despite the guy's behavior, Timmy tried to de-escalate the situation by saying stop calmly and assertively. He didn't yell at him like the other girl did, and he even revived the disgruntled teammate as a sign of good faith after the abusive commentary.
No way, I clipped that. Oh,
incoming care package. I love loot.
On a more comedic note, that teammate proceeds to do something stupid and dies right after he was brought into the game. But if you want to stop toxicity, that's how you do it. You remain assertive, but work to de-escalate the situation. And if they continue with the abusive behavior, you can just block them. However, Vice and the BBC don't actually want to stop toxic players. They are clearly using this to divide and conquer the sexes in the gaming industry as some sort of power play, while trying to get extra privileges for female gamers that they didn't earn. It's the same strategy the media uses everywhere else.
A lot of the people in the community thinks that you're stealing a spot, or that money should go somewhere else, or that you're not good enough to be sponsored.
Yes, and why would the competitive male players accuse them of taking someone else's spot? This is why I don't like these stupid news clips. They remove all context and don't give the other side any fair interpretations or a chance to defend their standpoint. Could it be that just maybe there's a reason the male players would say this? Oddly enough, in the very news report that Vice is saying that female gamers got these positions based on their merit, they are actually arguing for affirmative action.
Because there's no existing support there, a lot of female gamers don't want to go pro. Genji has been making strong efforts towards building a program of female gamers. Develop them, find coaches, coach up these female talent, scout them out, and then really just make it worth their while to be the nail that sticks out.
Why does it need to be a program of female gamers? Why can't it just be a program of the best players? Here's an honest question to women. Are you not insulted by this? Are you not insulted by mainstream news corporations constantly talking down to you like you're a child? Because if I had a news corporation like Vice tell me that I couldn't succeed unless someone held my hand through the entire process like that guy just suggested, I would be very offended. These companies do not respect you and they are not on your side. They are saying you're weak because they're saying that men can do it on their own, but you can't do it unless you get help. I don't get why this doesn't make women furious. Speaking of the BBC, here's them talking down to women just like Vice did.
There's mixed views about how to encourage more women into esports. One idea that's been trialled by Formula 1 esports this year is to guarantee a female player a spot in high-profile tournaments.
So back to why men feel like someone who has more merit is having their spot taken. This is all based on the BBC and Vice wanting you to think that these particular players are competitive with top esports players. They want you to think that the only reason they can't win is because everything is unfair in a male-dominated space. These companies are trying to make you think that female gamers are victims of circumstance, and the only way to give them their fair shot is to provide them with all kinds of bonuses and opportunities that male players don't get. Gee, where have we heard that argument before? And all of this meritocracy that Vice and the BBC are trying to claim is in the framing. They are manipulating the data to make you think that these women are top players being held back by sexism, when the reality is that they simply aren't good.
Chastity, also known by her gaming handle Cupcake, is one of 5 members of Team Paradox, an all-female gaming team trying to go pro. Each member of Team Paradox ranks in the top 1% of players for the game Overwatch.
Can you see how great that sounds? All of these women are in the top 1% of players. That's amazing. Except if you actually play competitive games, you'll know that being in the top 1% is not that big of a deal. I play Apex Legends. Apex has over 100 million players, which means there are over 1 million people who are in the top 1%. 1 million people aren't making a living on Apex, and that's why Vice is manipulating the statistics to make it seem like these players are better than they are to the people who don't play competitive video games. The top 1% is nothing. The rankings in Apex go like this: Bronze, Silver, Gold, Platinum, Diamond, and the last 2 are Master and Predator. To even have a chance at being a top player, you need to be in the Master or Predator class, and that's only like 0.2% of the players. The top 1% is nothing. This affirmative action stuff never works. Taking unqualified players and putting them in the front of the line does not magically make them good players. Here's an example of that. Do you guys remember the League of Legends team that was all female? Team Siren?
I'm a Siren.
I'm a Siren.
I'm a Siren. I'm Sylvanas, and I play mid. I'll bait you and outsmart you.
That line was so cringe that it became a meme. I'll bait you and outsmart you. All the good players started making fun of them.
Thank you very much, Joe. Yes, Alex. Now walk me through that game, because it was very close. SK was ahead actually in the beginning, and then at some point you just dropped all the AoE on them and it was over.
We thought that losing is not an option, so we decided to bait them and outsmart them.
Do you know why this is so funny? Because when you look at the actual rank of these players, they were nowhere near professional level.
At the release of the video, here is where each player and the team was ranked in the solo queue ladder. Uni was Plat 4, Illy Sweetheart was Plat 4, Sylvanas was Diamond 4, Christina was Diamond 1 at 26 LP, and Jenny was also Diamond 1 at 23 LP. Team Siren as a ranked 5s team was only Gold 1, with 25 wins and 22 losses. They were nowhere near the professional caliber conveyed in the video.
Here are the solo queue rankings for League of Legends by percentage. If you don't play competitive games and you don't know what solo queue is, it's when you play by yourself and get teamed up with random people based on your skill level. 2 of the Sirens were Platinum, which means they were barely in the top 10% of players. None of them were in the top 3 ranks, which are Master, Grandmaster, and Challenger, and as a team, they were only gold, which means they basically had no chance at winning a major tournament. As I said, giving people money, making a trailer, and having them say cheesy lines does not magically make them good players.
We live together, we play together. This is my family.
When a team like this gets memed into oblivion, there's a reason for that. The feminists like to blame all their failures on misogyny, like a bad player likes to blame the controller. The reason this particular part is hilarious is because it talks about them being a family when the team didn't even survive for a month. Why? A lot of that was due to poor communication and infighting.
Yeah, it was pretty much we didn't meet ends meet yet. Someone was leaving and it was too hard to replace her, and then all these girls having internal drama which shouldn't have happened in the first place. And yeah, that's pretty much about it. So that's a clarification on why Siren is banned. So yes.
This is why you hire based on merit and not based on a particular category someone was born into. This team wasn't skilled enough at communication in a team game to get along well enough to survive for even a few weeks after the trailer released. So I don't get it. Prove to me that this is being caused by harassment and not simply by a lack of interest in these types of games and lack of skill. I mean, if you listen to this girl here from the BBC report who said there was rampant sexism in the competitive gaming space, she said that she would not want separate male and female divisions because there wouldn't be any competition. Allow me to play the part of her statement that I left out from the earlier clip.
So you're saying that you wouldn't want there to be a division where women can't play against men?
Oh, that'd be horrible. I wouldn't play the game if that was the case, personally.
Tell me why. Can you explain that?
At the current scene right now, I think all of us individually would be like, it wouldn't be fun. Like, we wouldn't have any competition, or if we just only had to play against other women's teams, that just, the point of me playing every day is to improve, and I just wouldn't be doing that.
By saying that she wouldn't get any better if there were only female players, she just blatantly admitted that the other female players aren't good, which destroys the BBC's narrative that women don't win because of sexism. Get good and you'll win. Because that's the case, let's talk about why their skill is not at a competitive level, outside of there simply being fewer women. I'll use this time to talk about one of my favorite topics, which is how to get extremely good at a skill. The Vice News report talks about a Fortnite player named Madison. Let's hear her story.
I'm Madison Mann, nickname's Maddie, and I play for Genji Esports. I got signed in 2018. Probably roughly practiced lately about 6 to 8 hours a day. And that's pretty much every single day.
6 to 8 hours a day is not enough. That might sound like a lot for other activities, but that's not how much the pros practice. Pro gamers practice like the entire day. That streamer, It's Timmy, who I showed earlier, is horrendously successful at streaming and playing Apex Legends. Here's how much he works.
Yeah, I mean, my entire life is literally online. I literally wake up, hit the live button, go to turn off the stream, go to bed.
I got so much respect for you, bro.
Timmy is serious about that. I remember when I first saw his channel, I had way more subscribers than him, but his channel exploded in subs after he streamed Apex Legends for 55 hours straight, going from the lowest rank in Battle Royale to the highest rank. That's what this field is like. Remember, esports is entertainment. It's not like being a nurse or a contractor where we need tons of people to do the job. In the entertainment business, we only need a small handful of people, so it's winner take all. If you are saying that you want to be the best, then you have to put in the kind of effort that the best people put in. Here's another famous entertainer, Mr. Beast, who has one of the most popular YouTube channels at 90 million subscribers. Listen to the kind of mentality that he has.
Laser-like focus. I just want to be the best YouTuber I can.
Why do you want to be the best YouTuber?
I don't fucking know, man. I just, ever since I was 13, I just made the decision I was going to be a YouTuber. I was going to die trying. Sounds different hearing me say it now, but I had that type of like devotion when I was younger. Like even when people would tell me it was crazy, no odds in my favor, with no equipment, no nothing, no social skills, no editing, no camera, no one to teach me, no one to help me. I was just like, I don't care. I'm going to figure it out or I'm going to die trying. I'm obsessed and I'm crazy. Right. Like I will spend every dollar back into the channel forever. I don't care. I just want to be the biggest.
Yep. That's the kind of mentality you need to be at the top of something. Did he say he needed his handheld all the way to success because he was being oppressed? No. He got in there with nothing, made his own connections, and worked his ass off until he succeeded. Listen to how much work this guy did to get the knowledge that he has.
Basically what I did was I somehow found these other like 4 lunatics. We were all super small YouTubers, and we basically talked every day for 1,000 days in a row and did nothing but just like hyper study, like what makes a good video, what makes a good thumbnail, what's good pacing, like how to go viral. We would just get on Skype every morning, and like some days like I'd get on Skype at 7 a.m. and I'd be in the call until like 10 p.m. and then I'd go to bed, I'd wake up and I'd do it again. So we all had like 10, 20,000 subscribers when we met, and by the time we stopped talking, we all had millions of subscribers.
You don't get successful at a very competitive field without that kind of mindset and without that kind of obsessive work ethic. There are tons of different creative and social skills that have to be learned to make a YouTube channel successful. You can't learn those things without putting lots of time in, and it's the same with competitive gaming. Even the girl from the BBC News thing says that Madison isn't practicing enough to be successful at this.
It can be like a 10 to 14-hour job daily, but it is a lot of hard work.
Absolutely. That sounds more like it. Now, for those of you who don't want to be in an art field where everything is winner take all, you don't have to be as serious, but understand that the more skill you have, the more rewards you'll get for your competence. Everyone who wants to make a good living has to at some point put in those 12 to 14-hour days for a few years. I personally was held back for many years because I refused to do that, and almost instantaneously after I started putting that kind of effort in, things started working out. Mr. Beast actually reports the same thing in the Joe Rogan episode. He didn't succeed until he got serious. That being said, it should be no surprise that all they show Madison talking about in this documentary is her underperforming.
I have a lot of pressure because the last solo tournament, I didn't do as well in Australia.
You should be taking each loss as a hint that you're doing something wrong, and that should motivate you to change or improve your behavior until you win. I swear I see tons of people not getting the results they want at a particular thing, and they just keep repeating the same actions that cause them to fail over and over again. Stop doing that. Anyway, the rest of this documentary follows Madison to a big Fortnite competition called DreamHack. Once they get to this part of the show, another reason why Madison isn't doing well becomes apparent. Her coach sucks.
They've been practicing for months, so once we're here, my strategy is more to just make sure they're comfortable. Go get them, an energy drink, some water, just really do everything outside of the game so they can focus on just the game.
No, that's not your job, and if you think it is, then you're an assistant, not a coach. I've never done esports before, but I have done individual sports, and a coach's job at a competition is to focus on all the things that you can't. When you're competing and in the moment, it's very easy to get tunnel vision in terms of your overall awareness. Coaches are there to be an extra pair of eyes that can help you figure out what you're doing wrong. At the very least, what this guy should be doing is watching her games and going over all the things that she could be doing better in the next game. It's much easier to be critical about a match when you aren't the person playing, which is why a coach can be super helpful. But that's not what this guy does after a game. Instead of giving helpful, critical feedback, when his players vent that they have a problem, he just appeases them and tries to make them feel better. And he doesn't even do that well at that.
It's all Gucci, still got tomorrow too. Nothing to stress over. It is indeed annoying, but it's Fortnite. Fortnite is annoying.
That actually was a little funny, and I agree. But is that really a professional thing to be saying? Hey, this game you spend all day playing, it really sucks. Are you trying to demotivate your player when she's in the middle of a competition? You should be getting her pumped up for the next day. This guy does this crap multiple times during the documentary.
I mean, I know you don't want to hear it, but you would have qualified yesterday. I mean, you would have. It's not fair.
Bro, you're not helping. The whole point of having a coach is to have a critic who will tear you apart and make you better at the skill. If you want to get really good at something really quickly, then you need to find a mentor who has the ability to push you in the right direction.
Bro, it's a mentor's a fucking cheat code. If you're in an industry where you can get one, get one. So it's like that guy I took from 20 grand to 400 grand a month. Like that would take him like a decade on his own. And I was just like, here you go, just do this. People, like a lot of people enjoy, if they're really passionate about what they do, they enjoy talking about it. They'll mentor you for free just because it's what they love.
You can learn so much from people that have already accomplished things. You can.
If you can't find a mentor, then find a group of friends who are very motivated and have everyone rip each other's work to shreds. Then, teach each other what you've learned in your own private study until all of you are good. This works for every skill. Here's Mr. Beast talking about some of that.
There's no such thing as a perfect video. Like, someone should always call you and shit on your video because it could be better. Like, that's because imagine if someone does that every video and you upload hundreds, if not 1,000 videos over the next 10 years, and every single time someone's critiquing you and you're applying what they're critiquing. Like, imagine the compound effect over that time span. It's invaluable. But if you upload 100 videos and very few people are shitting on them, then like you just lost so much compound effect.
This is probably the one thing people are missing most in their skill development. People are afraid to hear negative feedback, so they will just ignore all commentary on what kind of job they're doing. A lot of times, even at the highest levels. Even when the person specifically asks for feedback, they will still ignore negative comments. I can't tell you how many YouTubers with decent-sized followings I've talked to who said, "My videos aren't getting views. I need help," who then proceeded to blow me off or get angry when I told them what I thought was wrong with their channel because they don't want to hear negative feedback. A lot of people don't actually want help. They just want reassurance. Now, to be fair, there are also a lot of people who I brutally criticize who listen, say thank you, and come back for more. Who do you think gets better? I honestly don't get why most people are so afraid of this. As for me, I am constantly looking for qualified people to crap on my content and help me improve my creator skills. You need to find people who are willing to be direct with you. You need like a Simon Cowell in your life who won't BS you and tell you that you're good just to make you feel better. If you don't have an honest assessment of your skill, you will not improve. This is also one of the benefits of the trash talk and the directness of masculine environments, and it's another big reason why I'm not happy that mainstream media outlets like Vice and the BBC are constantly trying to create propaganda in an attempt to destroy free speech in male spaces. Not being able to be direct and offensive harms our ability to self-improve, which leads to crap like this.
I'm pretty devastated. There was a power outage and I was 8 points away from qualifying top 200, but they didn't give us an extra 30 minutes so I could play my last game. So I guess I'm just ready for tomorrow because I know what to expect and I know I'll qualify if nothing else goes wrong.
Stop making excuses. You want to be a professional, right? If you were actually qualified to win, then it doesn't matter if the power went out. You should be good enough to win the makeup game too. Otherwise, you are saying that you're just relying on having a lucky game, and luck doesn't make champions, skill does. If you deserve to win, then you should be able to win regardless of technical difficulties. Has anyone ever sat her down and told her this?
I mean, I know you don't want to hear it, but you would have qualified yesterday. I mean, you would have. It's not fair. Maddie? Yeah. No, Maddie got bumped out.
There's the bad player blaming the controller for their failure. If there only wasn't a power outage, do you want to win or not? Because a winner would say, okay, I lost the makeup match when I would have won the previous match. What can I do to make it so I win consistently? Considering her attitude, I can guarantee you that Madison is not going to be successful. Her mindset is not how successful people think. Unless she changes, she will continue to fail at high-level competition. Interestingly enough, there was a person on Maddie's team who did qualify, a 13-year-old girl from Sweden who goes by Moki. God, these people are young. Apparently a 15-year-old won the tournament. Also, apparently the average retirement age in esports is 25. These people have really short careers. Now to finish this off, there was one more thing I wanted to say about skill building, and I think competitive video games do a really good job of teaching this lesson. I'm not super familiar with any of the games that these girls are playing, so I'm going to use Apex Legends to talk about this because that's a game I play. For those of you who don't know, Apex Legends is a first-person shooter battle royale game where 20 teams of 3 fight it out until one team is left alive. Ranking goes from bronze to predator. There are 3 ways to get points in a ranked match. You can get kills, you can assist a kill, or you can simply survive. After a certain number of teams lose, you'll get points for survival, and you'll even get a multiplier that boosts the point value of your kills and assists if you outlive enough teams. This system allows for 2 different strategies to rank up. You can do the quick and risky way, or the slow and less risky way. The slow way is to drop really far away from other teams and just run the clock out until enough people have lost for you to get points. The quick way is to drop around a lot of other players and get as many kills as possible. By the way, after you rank out a bronze, you'll lose points if you don't perform well enough in the match. so you don't want to get too reckless or you'll lose all the points you got in previous matches. But the strategy you choose to rank up will affect your skill level. Tons of people seem to be afraid and want to do the slow way. The result of that in ranked is that you'll get people who are ranked in diamond that fight like they're in bronze. Again, the ranking system in Apex goes bronze, silver, gold, platinum, diamond, master, and predator. So basically, you have a player who should be pretty good, but plays like a beginner. Of course they do. They've been avoiding combat. The players who get really good and actually deserve their ranks are the ones who jump into the fire, engage as many teams as possible, and keep enhancing their skill until they win consistently. Of course, you do need to be a little reserved, but you shouldn't be afraid to fight. The way you build the skill to fight competently, outside of what I've said so far, is primarily to watch other players who are really good, figure out what they're doing right, and practice what you learn. That's actually how I learned a lot about YouTube. I spent tons of time observing good and bad creators to figure out what worked and what didn't. Eventually, when you do the quick method, you'll get stuck at some particular point and not be able to rank up. Whatever rank you hit, that's the rank you are, and you will not be able to continue further unless you improve. You can relate this to a salary at a job. If you are stuck at $50K a year when the top earners in your field are getting $200K a year, then $50K is your value until you improve. I like to use YouTube as an example because this happens all the time here, and it happens in public where everyone can see it. You'll see creators shoot up in subscribers and views, but after a while they just kind of max out. Whatever number they stop the explosive growth at is their value. Now, I'll be a little self-critical here because we're talking about the ability to handle feedback. After my first year on YouTube, my channel blew up. At the end of my first year, on November 14th, 2019, I hit over 9,000 subscribers. By November 14th, 2020, I got over 175,000 subscribers. That's massive. My channel grew almost 20 times in that 1 year. But by year 3, that growth went down to about 2.5 times, and recently my growth has slowed way down. Last month was a good month, and I only got about 19,000 subscribers, so I can safely say my current value as a creator has plateaued at 500K subs. This is where I'll be stuck if I don't improve to get to the next level. Now I can do what most people do, which is accept that's my value and make a slow climb to 1 million subscribers over a period of 2 or 3 years, or I can do the smart thing and just get better at my skill so I get that explosive growth again, and I could hit 1 million by the end of the year. We'll see how this video ages. Now, doing the quick way does mean that I'm going to have to hit the books again and work insane hours like I did when I started. I'm willing to accept that, but you personally have to decide what level of burden you want. Maybe you're fine with $50K a year at your job and are willing to slow climb to a slightly higher salary over 10 years. Maybe you're not fine with it and are willing to put in the insane hours to build your income to double or triple what it is now in just a few years and become one of the top earners in your field. Either choice is fine if that's what works for you. All I'm here to do is inform you of what your options are and let you know how to achieve the higher echelons if that's what you want. Anyway, thanks for watching, follow me on Twitter, and I'll see you in the next video.